Good evening, everyone. Let's play Zelda Classic Origin. Now, when we last left off, we had just accessed the first dungeon, called the Eagle. One thing that this game adds, in spades I guess you could say, is cracks in the wall to denote where you can bomb. You'll see them on the overworld later, and they are very helpful. Can't get that last keys. Or is it Koos? Well, it's a pile of blue pixels now. Ah, a key. So, this room, for example, without the crack in the wall, you might have a hard time guessing where it is. And with the crack, I don't think it takes away from the challenge of the game. I think challenging somebody by getting them completely lost for no reason is a bit of a false challenge. Ah, a compass. There are a few hidden rooms, walls, that are not actually shown in this quest. But I think by showing some of them and hiding some of the rest, it really makes it feel more worthwhile when you found a secret. And you also feel less cheated when you miss something incredibly obvious, which is something I noticed playing through the original. Now, I don't really want to harp on the original too much. It really was great, a lot of fun. The first and second quest were not actually that difficult, although I did die quite a lot. And the feel of the original Zelda is just amazing. The exploration, the tool usage, everything like this. But every time I give a positive comparison of this game, it's just because I like this remake so much. Slimes. Get back here. I love the boomerang and can't wait to get it. It is my favorite accessory by far in any Zelda game, except one of the Oracle games where you had to direct it and it was just incredibly difficult. No? Yes! Memory serves. Oh, hello. You wouldn't happen to be incredibly difficult, would you? The Gorillaz are not my personal favorite. Oh, what a waste. I need the arrow. Bow and arrow. I don't like the blue ones, in particular. I believe we need the arrow. Oops. To get anything done here. But let's at least get the bow. Alright, it's like I'm not even trying. Come on, strategy! If I'm not wrong, the dungeons have different music in this game. Each dungeon, that is. Which I find to be quite a nice change from the normal. Now we have a map, we have some idea of why this place is called the Eagle. Secret passage no more. Oh, this is where I died. And it looks like I'm going to die again. Come on, I can do this. Say hello to Mr. Bomb. Wait a minute. Oh, right. Did you catch that? If you cross in front of the line of sight of these guys, they will block off the area. See? And you thought I needed the bow. Wall Masters. Ooh, there we go. We don't have the boss key, but we can get a key from this room and use it to access the bow. The arrow store is kind of out of the way. But we'll get there in a moment. Haha! Ninja. Now, a lot of these graphics borrow from A Link to the Past, which is probably my favorite Zelda game. And some of the items do as well. There are some later items, but for the most part, this is basically Zeldas 1 and 3. I don't think there's anything from Zelda 2. Ah, yes. Now, this is one addition to the game that I particularly like, although I can see that not everyone would like it. Do you see those blocks? After you kill all the enemies in typical Zelda fashion, you have to solve a block puzzle. And it is not terribly difficult, but it is very easy to put yourself into a corner. And later in the game, you'll come across dungeons that have a lot of difficult enemies and a difficult block puzzle. So if you mess up the block puzzle, you have to go out, come in, and kill all the ow, ow, ooh, ow enemies again. Alright, that was close. Ah, the bow. Exactly what the doctor ordered. I do not have the arrows, but at least when I get them, I will be able to shoot them. And you can guess what's in that room with the... whatever those things, statues are called. It is the boss key. Maybe... oh, I forgot. He will do damage to you before he picks you up. Well, let's take advantage of our death to go back to our house. 3 deaths. Oh, right. My goodness, we are not doing well. I am going to walk over to the arrow store, picking up rubies on the way, and we will do today's installment of why this game should be open sourced. If this game were open source, there would be a higher chance of good documentation. I bet you want a leaflet, don't you? Now, this is what I call an argument from the developer's point of view. It is not necessarily so much about the nature of open source projects, so much as it is about the nature of open source developers. And open source developers like documentation, because you tend to have more open source developers on a single project, and when a new one comes along, the existing ones have to explain how the system works. If the lead developer is smart, she will put this explanation in a wiki and never have to explain it again. And even if she is not smart, eventually she'll get around to it. So, the existing documentation on Zelda Classic is decent, but it could certainly do with a bit of kind of rigor, and having access to the source and a bunch of swapping and rotating in developers would make it a lot easier to get comprehensive documentation down. Shall we gamble? I think we shall. Oh boy. So that was today's example of why this game should be open source, and again, don't take it too personally if you're the developer and very much against it. I understand, but if your mind can at all be swayed, I would like to do it. Here we are at the arrow store. Oh boy. $80 rubies. I assume that's a good deal. If you will allow me to grab a heart, just so that we don't have to end with this incessant beeping. Okay, death works too. Well, with that, I will call an end to this episode. Thank you for watching. Next time, we will finish up the first dungeon, and perhaps explore a little bit more of this wonderful world.